Alrighty, thank you, Lisa. Today, a historical reenactment took place at Battleground. News 18's Ani Kasparian was there and has the story. Hey there, Ani.
Hey, Peter. Today was a brisk one for those who attended the Day of Remembrance for the Battle of Tippecanoe. The county's Historical Association hosts this event annually at the Tippecanoe Battlefield Museum and History Store. During the event, they commemorated veterans with a wreath-laying ceremony on the Battleground's monument. Also, they unveiled the original 1873 eagle statue that used to stand on the site until it was damaged 5 years ago. Visitors were able to talk to guides in clothing relevant to the period and learn more about the history of the site and the battle.
I think it's been a great turnout. It's great to see people come. Not many sites are able to be preserved the way this one was. Since it was preserved very early on, it's very important.
The museum also showcased some of the earliest known drawings of the site by known artist George Winter. This prominent historical figure came to Indiana to meet and sketch portraits of the local natives. Next weekend, the organization will be hosting an additional event at the Historical Center in Lafayette, highlighting the Native American perspective with guest guides from the neighboring Miami tribe. Ani Kasparian, News 18.
Thank you so much, Ani. Today, a local church teamed up with Purdue students and alumni for a good cause. First United Methodist Church hosted Purdue's annual Winterization event, which helps the elder and handicapped residents of our community with yard work. The Wesley Foundation at Purdue, a United Methodist-sponsored on-campus ministry group, organized the event. From recruiting helpers to maintaining a list of residencies in need, this group was successfully able to make the greater Lafayette area a little more prepared for the winter ahead.
It's just a really cool thing to see, this huge generational gap, and yet still being able to help each other and have this nice relationship with each other.
The group told us that an estimated 1,300 students showed up to help over 300 local residents. Today, a fundraiser was held for a man in Mulberry. Ryan Cooper was diagnosed with stage 4 colon and liver cancer at 36 years old. Today, a Truck a Car show was held to help raise money for Cooper's hospital treatments. His husband, Allie, says Mulberry has come together to help Ryan through the difficult time. The Coopers are headed to Chicago on Wednesday to seek a new action plan after Ryan's most recent round stopped responding to treatment. The Select Committee says Steve Bannon's indictment should send a clear message to anyone who tries to stonewall their investigation that no one is above the law.
Former White House strategist Steve Bannon is charged with 2 counts of contempt of Congress for failing to comply with a subpoena from the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol. According to the indictment, Bannon did not produce documents and communications and did not appear for a deposition. Each count carries a maximum penalty of up to $1,000 and 1 year in jail.
There's a lot of noise out there today, ladies and gentlemen, but remember, there's no whining, no tears.
The 67-year-old Trump ally is the first individual charged in the Select Committee probe. The panel alleges Bannon appears to have played a multifaceted role in the events of January 6th and had specific knowledge about them, including this warning on January 5th.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow.
His indictment comes as the former president's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, was a no-show for a deposition Friday. The committee is threatening him with contempt, too, stating it's unfortunate that Mr. Meadows has chosen to join a very small group of witnesses who believe they are above the law.
You can't allow these individuals who have information that the committee needs to simply flout their obligation, thumb their nose at Congress and the law.
Meantime, Trump is facing more scrutiny for comments he made in an interview with ABC News' Jonathan Karl, defending supporters who called for his vice president's execution.
No, you heard those chants. That was terrible. I mean,
he could have. Well, the people were very angry.
They're saying, "Hang Mike
Because
Pence."
it's common sense, John.
The Select Committee believes Mark Meadows was with the former president on January 6th, and they say he has failed to answer some of the most basic questions, including about his text messages that day. Chairman Thompson says he plans to recommend contempt charges against Meadows as soon as next week. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
President Biden and his cabinet gathered at the White House to tout the recently passed bipartisan physical infrastructure bill. The president says he will announce a point person to oversee how the money is being spent soon. But supply chain bottlenecks and concerns over inflation are threatening to overshadow the administration's big legislative victory. Skylar Henry reports from Capitol Hill.
Thank you all for being here.
President Biden and his cabinet met to discuss implementation of the bipartisan physical infrastructure bill, which will give $1 trillion boost to repair the nation's roadways and public transit, as well as expand access to broadband and clean drinking water.
It'll create millions of new jobs, will grow the economy, and will win the world economic competition.
The bill also includes $17 billion to modernize ports and help alleviate supply chain bottlenecks. Both are fueling anxiety over holiday shopping as well as inflation. This week, federal data showed consumer prices are 6.2% higher than this time last year, and that a record 4.4 million Americans quit their jobs in September.
Our view is that the real risk here is inaction.
The Biden administration is pushing Congress to pass the nearly $2 trillion Build Back Better plan to help ease economic pressures. It contains tax credits and provisions that are aimed at reducing child care, housing, and prescription drug costs.
This is part of a really comprehensive plan to keep the growth going, but also to focus on those pain points around inflation, around price pressures.
But West Virginia's Joe Manchin, whose vote is crucial to getting the bill passed in the Senate, signaled his concern, tweeting, "The threat posed by record inflation is getting worse. D.C. can no longer ignore the economic pain Americans feel every day." House Democrats say they plan to vote on the Build Back Better Act sometime next week. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The White House has invited a bipartisan group of lawmakers to join President Biden as he signs the bipartisan infrastructure bill into law Monday. That same day, the president is expected to meet virtually with the leader of China to discuss competing interests between the two countries. And when we come back, new challenges have arisen for the Biden administration's push to get children vaccinated. The latest COVID-19 updates when we return. And Lisa Montgomery will have a full look of your forecast coming up. Don't go anywhere.
But hey, how's it going? I'm gonna go grab my script. Does the shot look okay? I'll be right back. Thank you.
You're watching News 18 Weekend Report. WLFI Lafayette. News from where you live.
Hey there, welcome back. Today, the Navy christened one of its newest Virginia-class fast attack submarines, the USS New Jersey. It's the 23rd Virginia-class fast attack submarine. Construction began in March of 2016 and the submarine is about 80% complete. The sub is set to be delivered to the Navy in the next year. 4 out of 10 Hoosier adults are still not fully vaccinated against COVID-19 as Indiana's sluggish vaccination rate coincides with recent increases in coronavirus cases and hospitalizations. The Indiana State Department of Health said Friday that 59.8% of Indiana residents 18 and older are now fully vaccinated. Fewer than 3.4 million Hoosiers had been fully vaccinated against COVID-19 as of earlier Friday, after a daily increase of just 1,918. Indiana's moving average of daily cases, meanwhile, has climbed from about 1,700 to more than 2,000 over the past week.